Hi everyone, I'm Bri. I'm from the Art Therapy Studio, and today we're going to be making positive affirmation cards. And joining me, I have...
Hello, my name is Melissa, and I'm the Thoma Education Fellow at the Museum of Contemporary Art in Cleveland.
Thanks, Melissa, for being here with me today. So today, when we're making these affirmation cards, I'm going to start by just going over what materials that you're going to need. So I just have some markers, lots of different colors, a pen if you want. I have index cards, or if you don't have index cards, you could just cut paper down to about this size. I have a hole punch. If you don't have a hole punch, you can just use the end of a pen to create a hole. And then we have binder rings that we're going to use.
If I don't have binder rings, can I use string and kind of just like tie it into a loop?
Yeah, perfect. Anything that will just kind of bind them together at the end.
Awesome.
So with these, I was thinking to create at least 7 of them. And I say 7 because for when you're doing these, if you have one for each day of the week. So positive affirmations are usually used to motivate yourself, encourage positive change in your life, or boost your self-esteem. And they're usually used to combat negative self-thinking. So if there's anything that kind of comes to mind when you're thinking about what affirmation you want to use, I would think something that encourages yourself or makes you feel good. So some of the ones that I have already created say, I am free of worry and regret. I have, I believe in myself. I'm doing my best. And this one I use all the time. Today is going to be a great day. So I would just start with maybe doing one. And you can use whatever materials that you want to just write it. And then the idea is, as you're writing it down, really think about what it means and how you would repeat that to yourself every day. And I'm just gonna bend the screen here and we can start working.
Do you usually assign one for this is my Monday affirmation, or it's things that could be applicable each day of the week?
Yeah, if there's one that, well, what I would do is I would try to say, okay, this is my Monday affirmation, Tuesday, Wednesday. But if you're looking through and one kind of speaks to you for that day, that's the one that I would use.
Great, thank you.
So Melissa, do you have a positive affirmation that you've used before? Like something that you find yourself saying before, going into a hard day, or if you have something coming up, to just kind of feel better about it?
I don't know if I have like specifically affirmations, but I've started a bubble journal and have written like a statement at the beginning of each week that I kind of want to be my mantra for the week. So it's a little bit different, but similar thinking of what ideas I want to hold with me as I experience something unfamiliar, especially now.
That's great. So if you already have some written down, take some time to decorate the card. And if you don't want to do all 7 in this one sitting, just take one card a day and create a positive message, and then you can add it to your binder ring.
Are these things you recommend creating only for yourself, or is it okay to give them to someone as affirmations?
That's a really good question. I think that these would make a great gift. I think if you have someone in your life that need some positive messages, I think giving them a couple to start would be a good idea, and then encouraging them to kind of add their own to it.
Thank you. I just know they can be very personal. So,
But it would be helpful, for someone who doesn't have high self-esteem to see that someone else has written these nice words about them. Might give them enough encouragement to start thinking about themselves in that way and slowly add their own to the stack that they were given. So which affirmation did you start with, Melissa?
I borrowed a quote from Shakespeare and said, "Though she be but little, she is fierce." As a reminder of my own strength, even though when the world feels overwhelming and too large for me to tackle.
I like that.
What did you start with?
The one that I started with said, "I am doing my best." Because I think right now, with the way we are having to deal with the virus and the social distancing, it's all very new, and no one's going to be perfect at it. And I just felt like I needed to remind myself that what I'm doing is the best thing that I can do, even though I don't feel like I'm very good at it right now, because it's hard to be away from people.
Yes. I like that, especially now, this idea of we're all experiencing something that's unprecedented, so we're doing our best as we navigate this new territory. Are most of your affirmation statements you've heard before or ideas that come to you?
Some of them I've heard before that I agree with. And I think right now, some of them are also things that I just need to hear with the current situation. So it just kind of depends on how I'm feeling. So like if I were to look through the ones that I have already, I think the one that I would pick for today's affirmation would be, "I am doing my best." And that might change tomorrow. I might not need this one. And I think for those of you who are following at home, to take your time when you're thinking of these affirmations, really kind of think of things that you need to hear. Sometimes that might be the opposite of what we have in our head, because like I said earlier, everyone has negative self-talk in their head. So sometimes these positive affirmations might have to be the opposite of what you're internalizing. And with regular practice of telling yourself these positive affirmations, you will start to see lasting long-term changes in the way that you think and feel. It's not going to happen overnight, and it might feel kind of weird when you first start, but if you make it a habit and you really commit to it, I think most people will see a difference in their thinking.
Is there a place you go to kind of combat that self-talk and to get ideas that are different than the ideas in your own head?
I think just kind of when you're trying to figure out what to say to yourself, I think it comes from a place of your goal and the vision of how you want your life to be. Did that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. How many do you have? 2?
I have 2 right now. I spent a lot more time decorating the second one.
No, that's good. I like that, don't rush through it. Really take your time and think about why you're creating it. So that one says you are not alone. That's something I think everyone needs to hear right now. Why did you pick that one?
I've been spending a lot of time virtually connecting with people. That's helped remind me that even though we are all isolated, there's something that's still holding me to the people who are important to me. Mm-hmm. And it's just something I need to remember also, as in those moments of loneliness, that there is still something holding us all together, and people who are there to listen to the joys of the day and also things that are frustrating about each day. So I drew some people holding hands at the bottom, and then some dots that are all of different sizes and colors, but kind of exist in this area together.
Very nice. So when you're done creating, however many cards you want to start with, just, take your hole punch, and I recommend doing them all in the same corner. Make sure when you put them, if you're doing staple or hole punching more than one at once, make sure they're all kind of going the same direction. That way the hole is in the same corner.
And then you can just fold over the corner and snip it with scissors, so there's a little hole to put the string through.
Perfect.
Okay. I have my little hole or slit.
Perfect. I thought this was a good idea to put them on a ring or a loop, like a yarn loop, because you can kind of flip. Say you want this one for the day, and then you can kind of set it up and put it where you're going to see it.
Yeah.
So
I also like the loop because you can add more or switch them out as your ideas change and you need some different words of encouragement.
Yes, exactly. And make sure that you keep these where you see them, because if something is out of sight, usually it's out of mind, and these we want to keep in mind.
Is there a place where you keep yours?
I sometimes will put a couple throughout the the house. Like I'll put one on my bathroom mirror, or I'll put it on the fridge. So usually anywhere that I know I'm going to be several times a day, so yeah.
Thank you for
Do you
that.
have any ideas of where you're going to put yours?
I might put them by like my bathroom mirror, so that, because that's a place that I am multiple times a day, but I also don't want them to get dirty or like wet with like the sink and everything. So thinking of other places where I do move throughout the day, maybe around my computer, because I've been spending a lot of time there as all our work has become virtual and based on the computer.
Great, perfect. All right, well, thank you all for joining us today. And I hope that you've enjoyed creating these positive affirmation cards. And if you have created them, make sure you post it to our Facebook wall, because we would love to see what you've created.
Thank you for letting me join you today. This is a lot of fun.
Thank you, Melissa. Bye, everyone.
Bye.